Breaking news, the IRS has launched a formal investigation into Meghan Markle's charity. And what happened next will shock you. Millions unaccounted for, a suspicious new charity created overnight, and questions that demand answers. This is Royal Daily Report with an exclusive investigation. Good day, viewers. Welcome to Royal Daily Report, your source for in-depth coverage of the British royal family and related developments. I'm your host, and today we're bringing you a story that the mainstream media isn't covering. This involves serious allegations of financial irregularities, an IRS investigation, and troubling questions about where charitable donations have gone. Before we dive into this explosive report, please subscribe to Royal Daily Report and enable notifications to stay updated on this developing investigation. Now, let's examine the facts. Okay, so Christmas Day, right? Supposed to be all peace on earth and goodwill toward men. But the thing is, even during the holidays, some stories just can't wait. And this one, well, it involves Meghan Markle, the IRS, and a whole bunch of alleged financial problems. Look, I've been following this Archwell Foundation thing for a while now, and I'm not the only one. There's a whole group of us who've been scratching our heads wondering where all the money's actually going. Because let's be honest, it hasn't exactly been clear, has it? The official line is that Archwell's a public charity. That means by law, their tax records are supposed to be public. Anyone can request them. Take a look, see where the funds are being used. But here's where it gets interesting. For the past 3 years, myself and a group of other people, about 43 of us, give or take, we've been requesting these tax filings. We've sent letters, made calls, the whole thing. And you know what? Nothing. Zero. Not even an acknowledgement. Now, that's already a red flag, right? I mean, if everything's above board, why wouldn't they just send the documents? It's the law. But it gets even better. After getting blocked for years, I finally decided to call the IRS directly. I figured maybe they could shed some light on the situation. And guess what? It turns out I wasn't the only one. A bunch of other people had been contacting the IRS as well, raising concerns about Archwell's financial activities. And then boom, I get a message back from the IRS in December. Now, I can't show you the actual message because it's marked as confidential. But basically, it said that they were launching a formal investigation into Archwell Foundation. A formal investigation. After all this time, all the unanswered requests, the IRS is finally taking a closer look. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Just 6 days after I get this message from the IRS, Meghan Markle announces that she's renaming Archwell Incorporated to Archwell Philanthropies. The media, of course, eats it up. Oh, she's rebranding. She's including the kids. It's all sunshine and rainbows, right? But here's the thing, and this is where the mainstream media is being completely complicit. She's not renaming anything. She's opened a whole new charity, a completely separate organization. And that, my friends, is a very, very different thing. Think about it. If you just wanted to update the name of your existing charity, you wouldn't need to create an entirely new organization. You could simply file an amendment with the IRS, the Prince and Princess of Wales. They've done it. Even Meghan herself had to amend the Royal Foundation when she joined, but she didn't. She opened a new one. So why would she do that? Why go through all the extra paperwork and legal steps? Well, maybe, just maybe, it has something to do with the IRS investigation into the original Archwell Foundation. Maybe she's hoping that by creating a new charity, she can somehow distance herself from the alleged financial problems of the old one. And the thing that really gets me is that even though this new charity is supposedly for charitable purposes, the paperwork also says it's for commercial use. Commercial use? What's that about? I mean, I'm no financial expert, but that doesn't exactly scream nonprofit to me. It's like she thinks she can just brush everything under the rug, start fresh, and everyone will forget about the past. Oh, I'll just open a new charity, and Gavin Newsom will take care of the rest. But it doesn't work that way. The IRS doesn't just forget about things, especially when millions of dollars are potentially unaccounted for. And let's not forget that Archwell is also behind with the Department of Justice in California. They haven't filed their taxes or renewed their registration. They're basically operating illegally. But for some reason, they've been getting away with it. Now, I'm not saying Meghan Markle is guilty of anything, but the fact that the IRS is investigating, the fact that she's opened a new charity right after the investigation was announced, the fact that they haven't been transparent with their tax filings, it all raises some serious questions, and I think it's time we start demanding some answers. So, what's the deal? Why are they being protected? I don't get it. This is a guy, Prince Harry, who's admitted to doing drugs, and not just like, oh, I smoked a joint in college. He's talked about using cocaine, magic mushrooms, the whole thing, and he's not a US citizen. He's here on some kind of visa. You can't do that. As a resident alien, you're bound by federal law. Even if the state you're in has legalized marijuana or whatever, it doesn't matter. Federal law beats state law. So, Why isn't he being deported? Why isn't anyone holding him accountable? And then there's Meghan. She's out there looking all stressed, probably because the IRS is finally knocking on her door. She probably thought she could just get away with anything. You know, flash the royal title, play the victim card, and everyone would just look the other way. But it's not working anymore. People are starting to see through the act. It reminds me of Al Capone. What did they finally get him on? Not murder, not organized crime, not any of the really bad stuff. They got him on tax evasion. And that's what I think is going to happen with Meghan. It's not going to be some grand conspiracy, some smoking gun that proves she's a terrible person. It's going to be the boring stuff, the financial irregularities, the unreported income, the misuse of funds. That's what's going to bring her down. I mean, how can a charity be in the red when they don't even have a proper office or staff? They've been laying people off, reportedly owing them money. Where's all the money going? It's not going to charitable causes, that's for sure. It's probably funding their expensive lifestyle, their private jets, their fancy clothes. It's disgusting. And the worst part is, they're using their kids as a shield. Oh, you're criticizing our charity. You're attacking Archie and Lilibet. It's the oldest trick in the book. Politicians do it all the time. Use your family to deflect criticism. But it's especially wrong when you're talking about a charity that's supposed to be helping people. It has nothing to do with the kids. It has to do with the fact that millions of dollars are missing, and no one seems to be able to account for them. They're trying to make it seem like anyone who questions their motives is just a hater, a racist, a jealous troll. But it's not about hate. It's about accountability. It's about demanding transparency from people who are supposed to be serving the public good. And when they refuse to be transparent, when they actively try to hide their financial dealings, that's when you know something's up. So, what can we do? Well, first of all, we need to keep talking about it. We need to keep shining a light on this story, even if the mainstream media is trying to ignore it. We need to hold Meghan and Harry accountable for their actions. And we need to demand that the IRS do its job and thoroughly investigate Archwell's finances. And that's why I'm urging everyone to write to the IRS. I'm going to leave the form in the description below. It's easy to fill out. Just say that you're reporting Archwell because their taxes are not filed properly and you suspect some financial problems. The more people who report, the more likely it is that the IRS will take this seriously. It's not going to be easy. Meghan and Harry have a lot of power and influence. They have a team of lawyers and publicists who are working overtime to protect their image, but we can't let them get away with it. We need to stand up for what's right, even if it's unpopular. We need to demand accountability from everyone, no matter how famous or powerful they are. This isn't just about Meghan Markle, it's about the integrity of the charitable sector. It's about ensuring that people who are supposed to be helping others aren't just lining their own pockets. It's about holding the powerful accountable, and that's something we should all care about. And you know what else bugs me? The way they try to rewrite history. Remember when Meghan first came on the scene? The media was all over her, praising her for being a breath of fresh air, a modern princess. They completely ignored all the red flags, all the stories about her difficult personality, her strained relationships with her family. It was all, she's breaking barriers. She's changing the monarchy. Now that the tide has turned, now that people are starting to see her for who she really is, they're trying to pretend like they never bought into the hype, like they always knew she was a problem. It's so fake. Own up to your mistakes, people. You helped create this monster. And Harry, I got to say, I'm really disappointed in him. I used to have a lot of respect for him. He seemed like a genuinely good guy, someone who had been through a lot and was trying to make a difference. But now he just seems like a puppet, completely under Meghan's control. He's traded his family, his country, his reputation, all for her. It's sad to watch. I mean, think about it. He's literally attacking his own family in the media, airing their dirty laundry for the whole world to see. He's burning bridges left and right. And for what? So Meghan can sell more books and get more Netflix deals. It's pathetic. And don't even get me started on the woke stuff. They're constantly lecturing us about climate change, social justice, and all that. But then they fly around the world in private planes, live in a multi-million-dollar mansion, and wear designer clothes. It's the ultimate hypocrisy. They're completely out of touch with reality. They think they're better than us, that they're somehow more enlightened. But they're just a couple of privileged elites who are using their platform to enrich themselves and virtue signal to the masses. It's insulting. Look, I'm not saying they're evil people, but they're definitely not the saints they pretend to be. They're flawed, they're ambitious, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want. And right now, what they want is money, fame, and power. And the worst part is, they're getting away with it. The media is still giving them a platform. The public is still buying their books and watching their shows. And the authorities are still turning a blind eye to their shady dealings. It's like they're untouchable. But hopefully, that's about to change. With the IRS investigation, with the growing criticism from the public, With the increasing scrutiny from independent journalists, maybe, just maybe, they'll finally be held accountable for their actions. I'm not holding my breath, though. These people are masters of manipulation. They know how to play the victim, how to deflect blame, how to spin the narrative in their favor. It's going to take a lot more than an IRS investigation to bring them down. But we can't give up. We have to keep fighting for the truth, keep demanding accountability, and keep exposing their hypocrisy. Because if we don't, they'll just keep getting away with it. And that's not fair to the people they're exploiting, to the charities they're defrauding, and to the public they're deceiving. So, let's keep the pressure on. Let's keep writing to the IRS, keep sharing our stories, and keep speaking truth to power, because together we can make a difference. We can hold these people accountable and show them that they're not above the law. And maybe, just maybe, we can restore some integrity to the charitable sector and to the public discourse. It's a long shot, I know, but it's worth fighting for. That concludes our special investigative report on the Archwell Foundation and the ongoing IRS investigation. This is a developing story, and Royal Daily Report will continue to bring you updates as new information emerges. If you believe in accountability and transparency, subscribe to Royal Daily Report and hit that notification bell. The form to report concerns to the IRS is linked in the description below. Share this report with anyone who cares about charitable integrity. For Royal Daily Report, I'm your host. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and we'll see you in the next report. Thank you for watching.